Hello everyone, welcome back to Pris with me Pris. I hope you're okay wherever you are. Today, on What's Real or Not episodes, I am discussing another new Japanese comic/manga series titled Flower Garden Egoist. This series was made by Yunio Kimura, which only contains 2 volumes. So basically this is a short series. And if you want to know more about this series, I will leave the details in the link in the description box below. And if you want to support me further, I will leave the link in the description box below as well. So let's dive into What's Real or Not episodes today. So a little bit disclaimer ahead, this series almost the same like Oran High School Host Club, which I already covered before. So this is a reverse harm genre. And so basically one female character is being surrounded by 3 or more male characters, and basically it's almost same like an otome game. If you don't know it, just search it on Google. And I think this series mostly cater to the female readers, but for the male readers, if you want to read it, I think as a research on romance, yeah, I think it could be useful info. Besides, it's not too cheesy, but again, it's up to you. And okay, now after we get it out of the way, let's start. So already conclude that the series based on 80% fantasy, 10% gray area, and lastly 20% real part. As per usual, we'll start from the fantasy part, then move on to the gray area, and lastly the real part. And let's dive into What's Real or Not episodes today. So firstly, from the fantasy part, it's just like the school itself. Like you already know that basically there is no teacher that appeared throughout the stories, and also like the supporting cast, only the students, and mostly they just basically only appear once, and sometimes they don't have a name. I guess because this is a short series, so yeah, well, you have to basically understand that. And then the other student kind of go along with the main cast, whatever basically decision that being made and activities that the main cast do, they just like following that, and there is not much point of view or resistance or something like that, firstly. And maybe secondly, I think like the flower spirit world itself, like those boys basically is they are flower spirits. Things like that is a fantasy part, because well, spirit and things like that, because basically I don't have any scientific proof anyway, so I cannot tell that is real or not, or that's why I put it in the fantasy part, unless there is some proof to that. And of course basically the surrounding story, background story about the spirit, the flower spirit world itself as well. And like everything's like, it's just a fantasy romance series, so everything's going well, even though I think because the series is still quite new, that's why the way that the plot story being executed, I think is far better than the other romance series or fantasy romance series from the old times. Like they still like can have a struggle first before basically finally resolve the conflict, which is, I think that's quite good, because things don't resolve quite easily. Basically we as a reader, we're shown the progress on how to resolve things. And yeah, I think that's a pretty nice part about it. Even though yeah, basically it's a short series, so it's pretty simple, but I think it's a little bit better than the fantasy romance series from older times. And I think that's for the fantasy part. Move on to the gray area. The gray area is just like kind of the ending. Firstly, about the Miu's parents, that they finally get together after they get separated for 8 or 10 years if I'm not wrong. And it just basically because it's already near the end of the series, that's why they just basically fasten up things like that. So yeah, that's kind of thing that I think still kind of gray, because like not everything kind of can fix like that so easily, especially in the real world. So yeah, that's the thing. And then secondly, I think is the ending itself about our main couple, Rose and Miu. I think they kind of ended up with a happy ending. It's just like Rose asked permission from his father to prolong the basically training in the human world type of thing. Yeah, which is I think can be true, can be not anyway, but because we want a happy ending, so yeah, I think as a readers you most likely want a happy ending anyway. Bittersweet, it's nice actually, but well, as a reader we just like prefer the happy ending because life itself is already like bittersweet anyway. So yeah, that kind of thing is still great. And this is move on quite quickly, because this is short series. I don't have much to talk about anyway. Lastly, on the real part, we move on to that. The real part is just like the emotional turmoil that being displayed in this series, like Miu's struggle to move forward from the past experience that kind of traumatizing her in a way, so she find it hard to trust and rely on other people, and also basically to just pursue her dream. And that's why she, at the beginning of the series, she tried to study so serious so she could get a stable job, because back then the parents don't have a stable job because they basically just a florist, flower shop. So basically it depends on the customer and whether the orders kind of get flowing or not. And it's kind of sad, to be honest, and they finally basically break because of that, because the workload is just too much. And yeah, Miu's mother got sick because of it, and her father didn't realize that and basically blaming himself because Miu's mother gets sick anyway. And finally they get separated for quite a few years to come, and that's basically traumatizing Miu so much until the point that she hates Flower and she just wants a stable job and a stable life because of it. Even to find out at the end, those resolve kinda basically change into what Miu want to pursue, I guess. Anyway, I think it doesn't mean that the stable job is not something that Miu wants to pursue, but it's just like the things that she really passionate about, the thing that she really deeply want for herself, I guess, type of thing like that. And the emotional trauma is just so good, and the execution, in the dialogue itself is really really nice, especially about it's just not only about the past and trauma thing. It's just there's love, and basically Miu starting to basically open up her heart and try to accept Rose anyway, and things like that. And the circumstances that Rose is a flower spirit, so he cannot stay for a long time in the human world. So when the time's up, he had to go back to the flower spirit world, type of thing like that. So it's a kind of tough situation and circumstances, I guess. And yeah, they resolve it quite in happy ending, even though I still kind of think the ending is kind of a little bit off. But yeah, for a short series, okay lah, it's okay, and okay, I can live with that. And I think for the other supporting cast that being served as a case, I guess, in order for the main cast to resolve, I think their struggle is kind of real. Like, for example, the case with Hinata, I guess, in the way that this girl want to running the club, after her seniors already graduated, but because she is shy, she doesn't have the courage to basically, or maybe the confidence in order for other people to basically come into the club and not being scared of her anyway, because she looked gloomy anyway. And the feelings that being conveyed through dialogues and the narration is really nicely put, I guess. And I think that's kind of real what the character's feeling at the moment. I think there's something that you can relate to anyway in real life. That's why I think I put it 20% real, because there's a lot of slice of life, and what makes the fun of writing for this series quite high, because this slice of life are really, really nice. So yeah, I think that's all for What's Real or Not episodes today. And the valuable lesson that you can learn from the series is just like, I think the things that we can take from the series is just like, even though there is so many obstacles and problem comes at you, even though you're feeling like you want to give up and it's hard for you and you're basically drowning in negativity, just remember, even though you're feeling it, there is time when you have to basically, enough is enough, and you need to basically get back on your feet and try to think of solution instead of just basically whining and just moping around it, I guess, in a way. I think that's the most valuable lesson, and try to stay strong and stay positive, to be basically to open up yourself to the world and the other people. It's gonna be tough, it's not gonna be easy, but I think if you believe in yourself, if you have confidence in yourself, you're gonna be able to basically to deal with it, whatever that comes your way. I guess that's a pretty good lesson from this series. I find it quite hard to find a valuable lesson, because there's a lot of things that you can learn from it. So especially for readers that's still in teenage years, still in school, or even in high school, or even in the college, I think can still relate to this anyway. And yeah, I guess that's all. And again, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy my contents. And don't forget to stay tuned on my Instagram page to know what kind of contents that I'm gonna be uploading. And don't forget to stay tuned on KoFi Page, on my KoFi Page, also on any other podcast platform that you listen in. And hope to see you soon. Bye bye.